Alright guys, I'm back. Okay, so welcome to episode 3 of She Knows Ball. I am on episode 3, right? Well, at least I think so. We cannot confirm nor deny. But I'm joking. Okay, but yeah, welcome to another episode of She Knows Ball. And again, as always, it's been an eventful week in the Premier League. Let's just start off by pouring it up for United. Everybody, come and sip. Because United, I'm even sick of talking about them like in this way because it's even boring. It's like, can they give me something exciting to talk about? But anyways, we've just had to pour it up for United. Everybody take a sip. Everybody take a sip because United have obviously lost the Manchester derby to Man City, a resounding 3-0. And it's just like, can't they try small, like do something? Everybody just get cozy. Well, United fans get cozy because I feel like it's just so long for you lot at the moment. Like, how do you lot even deal? The get out. But yeah, no, okay, let's be serious now. United have actually lost 3-0 to City. And I feel like no one is shocked, obviously. But it just gets to a point where even if you're a manager, even if you don't want to play for the manager, right, you've got to do something where you respect yourself and you play for the team, you play for the badge, and you play for your integrity and your honour. You play for your self-respect, right? Originally, I already told you guys, I did not want Mbeumo going to United because I just thought like it was career suicide. But at least my guy is still shining, right? You know, he nearly scored a cracker. But obviously was denied by City's new keeper, Donnarumma. And that is why you also need to invest in a really, really good keeper because City aren't that great defensively, right? They have been conceding quite a few goals, as everybody knows. But I feel like that Donnarumma addition is going to help them. I wouldn't say win the league, but it's definitely going to help them in terms of conceding goals or contributing to, you know, keeping clean sheets from time to time. And that's what United need. Obviously now Anana's gone. They sold Anana. And I just want to know who United's new scapegoat is going to be. But yeah, we'll come to find out. I just feel like, yeah, bar Mbeumo's cracking, you know, attempt on goal, United haven't really done much. And it's just a bit disappointing because it's just like, what next kind of thing. Yeah, there's not really much to say, really. At this point, it just gets redundant, it gets repetitive, and it's just like, ugh, sort yourselves out. But I do think Amorim, obviously I did see an update from Sky Sports where they said that the Man United board are remaining patient with Amorim. But I do think that he does have a time limit and he most definitely has a cap. I think if they get to December and nothing's changed, then I think he's going. And plus he looks like he wants to leave anyways. He just, even the way he speaks in the media, post a match or whatever, he just looks like he's over it. He just looks, sometimes you can even see him on the pitch, like on the bench or whatever, and it just looks like he's not even really watching. And to be honest, I don't even blame him because I don't even want to watch that shit. Let alone watch that stuff if I had even recommended some of these players to the board and they're even failing in front of me, like just embarrassing me in front of everybody. Me too, I wouldn't even want to watch it, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, he looks like he's over it. He looks like he's even ready to go. I think he wants to even pack. I think he's even dying for United board to pack his bags for him. At this point, he's waiting for them to buy the plane ticket for them to go. For him to go. Like, he's ready. He just needs the plane ticket on company expenses and then he's out. Okay, I admit I've had a few before starting this podcast, but actually no, I didn't. I think I just had a sip, but on an empty stomach, so whatever. But yeah, that is the sad United. And the thing is, City aren't even that great this season, but somehow United have made them look good, but whatever. That's a story for another day. But anyway, let's move on to some more positive news. Obviously, Arsenal had Nottingham Forest at home last weekend, and they done a good job against them. If you saw my predictions, you would have seen that I had already predicted Arsenal to win against Nottingham Forest, because I just had a good feeling. You know, Arsenal look good. They haven't conceded much. The only goal that they have conceded was that wonderful world-class strike from Szoboszlai. Other than that, Arsenal have not actually conceded a goal from open play. Their defence is strong. They look good. We've got new signings. We've got an Eze assist. We've got a Gyökeres goal. And it's just like, what more can you actually want? We just need Saka back, really. But I do want to give a big shout out to Noni Madueke. You know, he has really come in and tried to prove his worth in the squad. And he's doing well. Like, credit where credit's due. You've got to give him props for stuff. And he's doing well. Like, he's taken man on. He's getting to the final third. I think what he just needs to work on right now is his final product. Because obviously you don't want to keep wasting these chances. At some point, you're going to have to capitalize off of the hard work that you have done from the halfway line, like at some point. So I don't know why there's talks of people saying that Saka can't get into the team, back into the team. I just want to know what it is that you've been smoking, if you think that, because I just don't understand why that thought would even cross your mind. But obviously, no disrespect to Noni, like, he's been doing good. It's what Arsenal bought him for. But when Saka is ready to come back, then yeah, he's definitely getting back into the starting lineup. So yeah, it was a really good game against Nottingham Forest, and I really just want to give a huge shout out to Mosquera. You know, he is looking... The guy is 21. Can we deep it? The guy is 21 and he's already looking like a Rolls-Royce defender. Who? Can someone just point me into the direction of the person that scouted Mosquera? Because whoever scouted him, give him a bloody raise. Like, he is so ice cool that it's like no one even knows that Saliba is missing. And for Arsenal fans to be able to say that, rah, Saliba's missing and no one's feeling it or no one's panicking is a really big thing. Like, there were plenty of seasons if Gabriel went out or Saka went out or, yeah, Saliba went out or Odegaard went out. Literally, Arsenal fans will literally be shitting their pants, panicking, because it's like, oh my God, we need like a complete squad. But Mosquera, it's like, Saliba, who? Don't get me wrong, no disrespect to Saliba, because that's my guy still. Like, he eats every time. But Mosquera is looking very good, and the guy is only 21. So, you know, someone actually told me that they do think that Arsenal have brought in Mosquera because they do believe that Saliba is going to be leaving at the end of the season to go to Real Madrid. I'm not going to lie, if he does, that will break my heart. But kudos to Arsenal for putting in the steps in place to try and resolve that issue before it actually comes to hand. So, can't knock it, really and truly. And so, yeah, even Arsenal have continued their winning streak. Well, it hasn't been long of a streak since they lost to Liverpool, but you know what I mean. Against Athletic Club in the Champions League. And again, like, I want to shout out Mosquera. Again, another Rolls-Royce performance. Like, he is solid. But I actually also want to shout out Martinelli and Trossard. You know, I have given Martinelli a lot of stick. Like, I thought he should have been sold this season. This summer. During the summer transfer window, I feel like he definitely should have been sold. I had run out of all patience with Martinelli. But I still do think that he should be benched. Like, I get the fact that he's scored and he done well in that game. Like, he did what a substitution's supposed to do. Come on and make a difference kind of thing. But I feel like at the moment in time that is still his position. He needs to be on the bench. It's a thing where he needs to come off the bench and be an impact sub. And what I like with the fact of what Arteta has done with the team is there are options. And so you will hold bench if you don't perform well on a normal basis. And so what Arteta has done is increase competition with the team. So when he is subbed on, he has no choice but to try and show out, because it's like, I might not get a chance to play another game for, I don't know, maybe the next 3 games, so I need to ball now. And that's what's good, because no one's place is safe in the Arsenal team. And that is what I rate, and that is what you need ASAP. So yeah, Arteta, kudos to him, because he has built a squad, like a squad with depth, with breadth, with precision. And yeah, like, he's just banging. So I actually do want to shout out Arteta. Credit's due where credit's due, because obviously he did get a lot of stick with the lineup that he put out for the Liverpool game. But again, you know, with the Liverpool game, Arsenal actually just conceded because it was a world-class goal. But had it been, you know, where the subs came on and made a difference, and then it was Arsenal actually scoring, everybody would have called Arteta a genius. But it just didn't work out that time. So yeah, Arsenal are doing well. Is this a controversial thing to say that I think against City that Mosquera needs to start instead of Saliba? I said it. I said it. I might even have to take a sip for that. I'm taking a sip because I know some of you are going to call me crazy. But the real ones won't call me crazy. I actually think against City, Arteta needs to start Mosquera, because yes, don't get me wrong, Saliba is great, he's fantastic and stuff, but he's just coming off an injury. And that is the whole point of the team that Arsenal have built, is that we don't need to rush players back. Let Saliba come on, I don't know, maybe 60th minute, 70th minute. He doesn't need to do the full stretch when he's not really been at it. Like, I don't feel like he'll be match fit, especially against such a big team like City. If it was a lesser team, like let's say we had Leeds or we had Burnley or Sunderland, then yeah, maybe you could start Saliba. But I feel like Mosquera has been playing and he's built up his fitness. Do you know what I mean? And so Saliba probably, I wouldn't be mad at Saliba coming on around the 70th minute, like just to seal the deal, if he even needs to come on. And that is even crazy for me to say, like, but that just even shows you how far Arsenal have come, and I just have to rate it. So yeah, that would be my unpopular opinion in respect of the starting lineup against City on the weekend. But yeah, comment below and let me know what it is you think, because let's see the lineup that Arteta actually pulls out the bag. But yeah, on the topic of, you know, Nottingham Forest and stuff like that, guys, I already told you last week that I think Ange being appointed at Nottingham Forest was just a big no-no. The board made a huge mistake with that. And it's actually sad to see, because I do think Nuno actually built up a really, really good team in Nottingham Forest. And I just think that Ange is going to take them all the way down. You can see the way Tottenham are already flourishing and the way they're moving without Ange. And so I don't know what possessed the Nottingham Forest owner to do that. Probably Edu. You know Edu, I don't know what's wrong with that one either. So yeah, but it's not looking good for them, and they even just got knocked out of the cup this week. So it's just not looking good across the board. And yeah, I can spot this being a disaster from a mile away. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, so that's a little roundup. You know, last week we did speak about that little scandal with David Coote, and I did say that I don't think there are going to be any pundits or any media outlets discussing this. Was I not right? Let's take a sip. Let's take another sip. Because was I not right? I haven't heard anything in the media in regards to this David Coote stuff, and it's like as if they're all trying to sweep this under the rug, and it's just like, girl, we see you and we know what you're doing. But anyways, that's why we've got people like me, Mrs. She Knows Ball, because we're gonna come and we're gonna cover it. So anyways, since he's been charged, when is his court hearing, child? We need to know. The people need to know, and they need to make that shit public. We want to know what our referees have been doing in this league, and we want to know now. We want to know now. So they need to be providing that information, baby. Because the people gotta know. But anyways, yeah, so it has been quite a long week in terms of football, especially with, you know, the Champions League kicking off. Liverpool just keep getting lucky, and I don't know what it is or why. Like, the football gods are just with them right now. Maybe it's Diogo Jota, RIP to him. Maybe it's him just looking over them right now, because, girl, Liverpool just keep getting lucky. Even in these janky games, they keep getting these last minute goals. Like, they got a last minute goal against Burnley, and in the Champions League, again, another last minute goal in literally extra time. And it's just like, how do they keep getting so lucky? But their luck might run out. Their luck might run out. I'm not sure how much it will over the season, especially with the addition of Isak. But we will actually see. Chelsea actually... Do you know what? Chelsea look good. They have good glimpses, I would say. Like, they have moments in the game where they look good, but overall I just feel like the last two games that they've had in the Champions League and the last Premier League game that they've had has found them out, because beforehand they were getting saved by VAR a lot. So the game against Fulham, there was another game, the Crystal Palace game, they just kept catching life. Like, Chelsea were catching life for time. VAR was just helping them bit by bit. And then, I don't know, they've been found out now, because obviously they've drawn against Brentford, and then they obviously lost in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. But that was expected, to be honest, because I don't know, Chelsea just, as I said, they keep getting found out. Obviously, they do have a good team, but I just don't feel like... There's just little cracks and mistakes that they keep making defensively and in their midfield. But what a goal from Cole Palmer, by the way, that I want to say. I actually really, really like Cole Palmer, even though I keep giving him a lot of stick on FPL, but that's because he keeps messing it up. He's so jarring to have on FPL, but generally, I actually really fuck with Cole Palmer. I'm not gonna lie. Like, look at his interview. Like, why is he so unintentionally funny? Like, look at this interview that he gave after the Bayern Munich game. And it's just like, he doesn't mean to be funny, but he just is. Like...
Cole Palmer, thanks for your time.
Why was he standing like that? No, we need to...
Cole Palmer, thanks for your time. Not the result you were heading for. What are your summarizing impressions on this evening?
I thought we played well, to be fair.
Why is he that's the first few seconds of this interview is just hilarious. It's the stance, it's the way he's looking, like, he's just so unintentionally funny, bless him. But yeah, that's that, to be honest. So, even, guys, let's get into FPL. How did we do last week, guys? Because I'm not gonna lie, last week I told you I was considering playing my wild card, and I did. And I'm not gonna lie, it paid off. I had a good FPL week. I didn't get into the hundreds, which is like okay? But it wasn't a bad week. Like, I don't feel like I can really complain. So I ended last week on, well, if it loads, well, I think it was 76 points, which isn't bad. Like, guys, if you had listened to me last week and the defenders that I told you to transfer in, you'll be laughing, because all of them got really good points last week, bar Correa. Right, so if you had listened to me, you would have been in a good spot in terms of your defenders anyways. So yeah, I am not really mad at this FPL week. I have gone up in my league, but that was well overdue because I had such a horrific week beforehand. So it was nice for me to actually do well than the people that I was up against. So that wasn't too bad. So yeah, comment below and let me know how you did last week for FPL, and if you played your wildcard, and if it was a successful wildcard. To be fair, what even deems a successful wildcard? Because to me, a successful wildcard is like the majority of my players return. And let me show you what my thingy look like. Like, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. So I was quite satisfied with that. But anyways, let's get into the big topic on FPL, because it's just like, okay, for those who have Ekitike, what are you doing? Are you guys transferring out Ekitike for Isak? And that is, I'm asking you guys because technically it's a question to myself, because is that what I'm doing? Because I'm really considering it, because obviously we've seen how Slot has lined up in the Champions League, right? So we've seen how Slot has lined up in the Champions League, and obviously he started Isak and then subbed on Ekitike. And so obviously immediately to FPL players, that was a red flag. It's like, okay, cool. Does that mean Isak's going to be the main man instead of Ekitike, and Ekitike is going to be coming on as a sub? Because we've now started to see how Slot is lining Liverpool up. And so obviously that is a huge worry for Ekitike owners. But to be fair, it's not the worst thing, because Ekitike is a type of player where if Isak gets subbed off, let's say in the 70th minute, Ekitike could still bag or assist. But it's like, I get there's like, you know, uncertainty. You want your FPL players to start, because obviously you get an extra point if they do as well. So I do get that, but I wouldn't panic completely, if that makes sense. But I do get why, you know, there may be a bit of a worry in terms of having Ekitike. I think I will be making the switch. I'm not gonna lie, as an FPL player, I just love having Isak in my team. There's just something about Isak that's just like, you just gotta have him, do you know what I mean? And then when you don't have him, you're like sweating. You're like, oh, is he gonna bag? Is he gonna assist? And most likely he does, unless he's injured or something. So I will probably be transferring in Ekitike, Isak. Obviously, the Merseyside derby is a difficult one. I think I'll be keeping in Salah for that game. Obviously, the captain's armband, I think, will be also... It will either go on Isak or Salah. Salah is a good contender for this because he has a great record in terms of scoring against Everton. And so that is why he is going to be considered. But at the same time, I am considering putting the armband on Isak because it's Isak, you know, and he wants to probably make his mark and, you know, do a little 1-2 and show off to the fans that, yeah, I'm here, I've arrived, blah, 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 and whatnot. But yes, last week I mentioned that FPL players, if they need a differential striker that nobody else has, they might want to transfer in Arteta. I still stick by that. I know last week he blanked and it wasn't a great performance from him, but he does have a good fixture coming up. If my FPL loads, I can show you what match he has coming up. Yes. So, Crystal Palace are actually facing West Ham. And obviously everybody knows that West Ham haven't been the greatest this season. And so I do think this is a really good time for Arteta to strike. I mean, if he doesn't, then it's like, oh my God, I don't know when you will, mate. Do you know what I mean? But I am quite confident of Arteta performing in this game. But anyway, it's cool. Let's get into the midfielders to transfer in. I know everybody wants to know, is it time to transfer in Cole Palmer? Because obviously he scored against Brentford and then he's now scored in the Champions League against Bayern, right? And so he's on form right now, which you can't hate, can't knock it. He has scored a good goal too, so it's like, I won't be mad if you want to transfer in Cole Palmer. The only thing that worries me is the fact that he is 10.4 million. And it's like, I don't think, it's a bit difficult for me to spend 10.4 million if it's only going to be a one goal type of thing. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like if I'm going to spend 10.4 million, then I need 2 goals. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Chelsea actually have Man United away, Brighton at home, and then Liverpool at home. And yes, I'm not going to lie, I am tempted to get Palmer in. It depends how many I've only got 1 transfer. And I think with that transfer, I want to make the switch from Ekitike to Isak. So it's like, I don't want to use all of it, if I'm honest with you. But Man United and Chelsea is typically a really good game. I'm trying to get the stats up, which I should have written before. But I think the Chelsea and United game is going to be a good game. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be mad if you wanted to transfer in either Mbeumo or Palmer. I'm not going to lie. I would actually recommend those transfers. The only thing that worries me about transferring in Chelsea players right now is that in 2 games time after this is that they have Liverpool at home. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad at either you getting Mbeumo or Palmer. Like, I definitely wouldn't be mad at that. But anyways, I do want to touch on I do want to talk to our Kudus owners. Like, Kudus owners, what are we saying? Because obviously the first game week he did perform well. But in the last 3 game weeks or so, he's not really been given. Like, don't get me wrong, he's impacting the game in real time, but I'm talking in terms of FPL and earning FPL points, it hasn't been all roses. And so I have been looking at alternative Spurs players. So, or generally alternative midfielders, right? And one midfielder that is playing for Tottenham right now that I definitely would recommend transferring in is Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons looking really good. He has assisted in Tottenham's last game. And he just looks really good as a player. I'm not going to lie, that he looks like he's a dangerous and he's a threat consistently. And you know them footballers that just look like they have the suave and the finesse that is required. That's what Xavi Simons gives. And I think he's going to do really, really well at Tottenham. And so Tottenham's next games, they have they have Brighton at home, Wolves at home, and then Leeds away. And so I think that is one for Tottenham players, particularly their midfielders, to do a little 1-2-1-2. So I could keep Kudus in the team, but Xavi Simons, is on my radar, and I definitely will be recommending on my social media platforms, if you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, to transfer in Xavi Simons for this game week. And then other midfielders that I would recommend transferring in right now is Caicedo. Like, he looks really, really good, and he's much, 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 much cheaper than Cole Palmer. So Cole Palmer is obviously around 10.4 million, but Caicedo is 5.6 million, and he's had a really, really good impact in the interim. And so, yeah, he is definitely one to watch. He's not expensive at all. Obviously, they've got Man United away, Brighton at home, and then Liverpool at home. Again, my only concern is the fact that, you know, I don't think they're going to have an easy game against Brighton or Liverpool. So it could be the wrong time to make these transfers in. But if you need cheapness and if you need somebody that's on form, I'm not going to lie, Caicedo, definitely. And of course, if you don't have Salah, then you probably want to transfer in Salah. But a lot of people are transferring out Salah for Haaland. I think I did touch up on this in my last pod, but the smart people have also actually doubled up on them. So, but some people actually have Salah and Haaland. Obviously, I thought that, you know, it would be too much of a compromise on your team. But to be fair, I'm actually starting to see that you can actually do well in FPL right now with cheap midfielders, because it's the cheap midfielders. Like I said in my first episode, I said this is going to be a season where you don't need premium assets everywhere. Like, it's going to be an FPL season where those who really stand out are going to be the ones that know ball and are able to capitalize off of those cheap midfielders and cheap defenders that are still doing well and performing well and collecting those FPL points. So yeah, but anyways, so yeah, Salah and Haaland owners, wouldn't be mad if you was to have both in your team, and wouldn't be mad if you had either or. Kind of, it's just a yeah, it's one of them ones kind of thing. But anyways, other midfielders that I feel like you should keep your eye on or that you should consider transferring in is definitely Zubimendi and Eze, both Arsenal boys, but Arsenal midfielders. I feel like with the two of them, they could get the assist or a goal. Obviously, you saw Zubimendi's fantastic performance against Nottingham Forest. But that was long overdue. Again, I remember talking about him and saying in pre-season he looked very, very good. He gave a crazy assist in pre-season, and I just knew he was going to do it again in the Premier League. It was just about a matter of time. And so, yeah, even though City is a hard game, City is a hard game, but I've actually got an interesting fact, and that City have actually not beaten Arsenal since April 2023. And so even though, yes, City is a hard game, I mean, why not have some Arsenal assets? I think at the start of the season, again, a lot of people, FPL managers, wrote off Arsenal players because they had hard fixtures. But the Arsenal defenders and Arsenal midfielders have actually been doing really, really well. So you snooze, you lose. People keep writing them off because of their difficult fixtures, but that seems to be where they've actually performed the most, to be honest. So yeah, Eze and Zubimendi definitely one to watch. Hoping Eze can get a little assist, a little cheeky assist. That would be great. Yeah, in terms of defenders. Oh, let's take a sip. Been talking for ages. But yeah, in terms of defenders, again, I wouldn't be mad if you actually transferred in Arsenal assets. Again, Arsenal have not conceded a goal from open play this season. Again, the only goal that they have actually conceded was that world-class goal that Szoboszlai gave during that game. Other than that, Arsenal's defence have been solid. So again, if you want to transfer in Gabriel, Calafiori, Timber, wouldn't be mad at it. And I actually would recommend transferring in Calafiori because everybody remember not everybody, but Arsenal fans particularly remember that wonder strike that Calafiori scored against City. Was it last season? I think it was last season. So yeah, let's see if he can replicate that. He might as well do. He's been looking very, very solid, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I'll definitely transfer in Arsenal defenders. Again, if you're worried that they're not going to keep the clean sheet, up to you. But again, Arsenal defenders are likely to produce attacking returns as well, in a sense where, you know, they can give headers and whatnot. Yeah, I would refrain from transferring in Mosquera, even though I know he's cheap and he's good right now, but it's just because you never know who Arteta's going to go for. It's Arteta's roulette time. But yeah, other defenders that I said you should transfer in, I spoke about Gahey last week, and if you listened to me, you would have got the clean sheet points. Again, I would transfer in Gahey and I would consider transferring Munoz. Crystal Palace have... Who did Crystal Palace have again? Crystal Palace have West Ham. Yeah, and West Ham haven't been looking great, so that's why I even wrote them down. Yeah, so Crystal Palace actually have West Ham. And so again, West Ham haven't been looking too good this season. And so again, I would be considering Guehi or Munoz to transfer in. I actually would consider transfer in Mings. I would recommend him because he's cheap and cheerful, and Aston Villa have Sunderland away, Fulham at home, then Burnley at home. And those are pretty nice fixtures. And again, he's cheap and cheerful, only about 4.5 million. And I would consider, again, I feel like Tottenham have been doing really, really well this season in terms of their defenders, because their defenders are not only, you know, assisting with keeping the clean sheets, but they are also contributing to goals as well. So you'll get those nice attacking return points. And so I would recommend you can pick a bunch of Tottenham defenders right now, which is funny to say. You wouldn't really say that about Tottenham, but for this season, it's given that. Like, you can literally pick from Van de Ven, Romero, Pedro Porro. You can literally take your pick. I would go for Van de Ven, 14 points last game week, which is exceptional. They've got Brighton at home, Wolves at home, and Leeds away. The only thing that I would suggest that is a point to think about is that the stats actually suggest that they don't usually keep a clean sheet against Brighton, and that they do have a difficult game against them. But again, if you are looking for, you know, if clean sheets aren't that important to you and you also want to go for defenders who produce attacking returns, then definitely go for it. Those would be a good shout. So yeah, we're now coming to the end of the podcast. Let me know if you are going to be transferring in any of these players, or let me know if you took my advice last week and you've been eating or sipping with Sheena's ball, baby. So yeah, and let me know if you are also transferring in Isak and who you're swapping Isak for. Are you transferring that Ekitike for Isak? This will be a really good judgment call, I'm not going to lie. But it's heating up in the league. I like this time of the league because you can start to actually mold a team and start to know who's going to let you down, who's kind of going to come through for you. I feel like a lot of FPL managers had a bad start to the season because, yeah, a lot of people that people were used to having in their team or that performed for them last season just don't have it right now. Like Aston Villa, I remember someone telling me, you know, that they've had to wildcard because too many things are happening. Like they invested in Aston Villa assets, like Watkins and stuff, and they weren't doing too well. Invested in Palmer, obviously he got injured. Invested in Saka, he got injured. So a lot of FPL players were going through it. So it was a bit of a rocky start to the season. But now I feel like we're getting into that easy zone. Not easy zone, but the cooling down period where you can start to see who's fit, who's doing good, and who's likely to come through for you. So yeah, let me know what you think about this episode. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms. That is KaiBody, which is KAIBODY _ KaiBody on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, watch out for all of my videos and stay tuned and watch this space. And let's see how well we do for the FPL week this week. So yeah, wishing everybody a good FPL week. Cheers to that. Cheers.